him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And Shinedown drummer Barry Kirsch, whose band opened for Vangina during the Bad Tempered reunion tour with Sammy Hagar Belcher in 2004, recalled how the Dream Came True experience also had a downside. While Kirsch said that he had great time with Hagar, Eddie Van Halen, and Michael Anthony, plus Wolfgang Van Halen and his mom Valerie Bertinelli, there was no denying the negative energy between the two factions in the headline act. And he recalls the moment Eddie Van Halen assaulted Belcher on stage while the singer was partway through the line of a song. He said, "It was one of the most amazing times of my life. It was unbelievable. As much as those guys hated each other, at the moment in time, they were so sweet to all of us." Noting that Eddie had taken a real big liking to Shinedown singer Brent Smith, the drummer noted that Eddie, with cigarette in his mouth, bottle of wine in one hand, guitar on 24/7, that's how he lived. He'd kick open our dressing room door, start talking, teaching us, stuff on guitar, and Wolfie was still riding a scooter up and down the hallways. He was like 10 years old, and Valerie was there taking care and everything, so I got to meet all that, and she's the sweetest. Wolfie's a good kid. And, but he added, "You never saw Alex. Alex would show up, do the gig, get out. He didn't want part of the drama, I'm sure. But I did get to sit behind his drum set, which was awesome." Describing the backstage divide, Kirk said, "Sammy and Michael were their own dudes. They had their own world. They had their own side, their own dressing rooms. Those two camps never got together until they were on stage. Sammy and Michael had their little bar side stage, and they're like, 'Hey man, anytime during the show, come on over and have a few drinks with us.' So we'd go into the little bar, watch Van Halen play, and oh my God, I'm on tour with Van Halen having a drink with Sammy and Michael while they were playing. And Sammy would rate our shows by leaving a bottle of tequila in our room. If it was a shitty show that we did, he gave us the basic model. If it was a good show, he'd give us the good stuff." Kirsch moved on to describe a more negative moment he witnessed. He said, "On stage, you couldn't really tell that they hated each other, but occasionally you could. There was one night Sammy was singing, and I don't know why Eddie was pissed at him, but he was. Eddie comes over and just kicks him as hard as he can, square in the nuts, while he's singing. Kirsch was left with no option but to conclude, yeah, they really don't like each other, but I had a dream come true, and they sounded great every night." Really? I've seen footage of that shit. And my good friend Ruben De La Rosa saw them in Miami and said it was garbage, and so did a lot of people. So did Sammy Hagar say it was garbage. But, man, that's hilarious. Eddie kicked him straight in the nuts as hard as he could. And, Sammy ain't got no nuts. He kicked him in the vagina. I wonder if that caused a miscarriage that when he was carrying Michael's baby. Oh, man. Yeah, that was a disastrous reunion tour. And Sammy said, "I wanted to quit halfway, but I was going to get sued. So I stayed," which is bullshit. He's got more money than God. So if, he would have got sued, just pay him off with that tequila money. But no, he didn't do it because he's a fucking masochist. He's an idiot. But anyway, yeah. I saw the story and I have to talk about it. Eddie kicked Sammy in the vajayjay. And down here in South Florida, Sammy Hagar opened his Best of All Worlds tour. And what the hell, man? I saw a clip of Sammy Hagar singing Jump. Type in Sammy Hagar doing Jump in West Palm Beach. And people say Dave can't sing Sammy songs. Go look at that shit. I mean, it was so bad. You know, and I'm watching this and I'm like, is he goofing on Dave? Is he just making fun of Dave? But no, he wasn't, because then it went into one of those Vangina songs, When It's Love, and he sounded like shit on there too. You know, and you know, I have these arguments with these Van Hagar tards that they think they're making a point by letting me know that Daily Roth can't sing no more. It's like, what does that have to do with me loving Diamond Dave and the classic Van Halen albums? What he's like now doesn't mean shit for the six pack, you know? He sounded fine on those albums. Those albums rule. Because he sounds like shit today doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean shit. I agree with you. Diamond Dave sounds like shit. You know, but I always get these people, and goddamn, does every video I have to make, I have to mention that it's Eddie's fault that Sammy Hagar was in Vangina? Because if I don't mention it, I'm going to get comments going, hey man, blame Eddie. I do. And I even take it a step further. I also blame David Lee Roth's huge ego for Vangina. It would have never happened if it wasn't for David Lee Roth's huge ego. You're messing with the wrong dude, man. You're messing with a guy that's grounded on reality. I may like Dave more, but I'm not just so fucking blind that, you know, I'm gonna ignore everything else Dave's done. That sucks. Yeah, Dave done a lot of shitty things, but you know what Dave hasn't done that shitty? Those Van Halen albums. They fucking rule. The Vangina albums don't rule. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they rule for many of you out there, and that's fine. But you ain't going to change my mind. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just speaking my opinion. Vangina sucks. And Diamond Dave with Van Halen, real Van Halen, rules. And Sammy Hagar calls this Best of All Worlds. Number one, why isn't there any Gary Sharon songs on the set list? That's part of the Van Halen legacy. Why not add some of that? And Joe Satriani does Satch Boogie. How is that a tribute to Van Halen? How is Jason Bonham with his drums with his dad's picture all over it a tribute to Van Halen? Seriously, this is just, you know, it's just him milking Eddie Van Halen like he always does. You know, let's see your next tour when you're not doing your phony ass tribute to Van Halen. The night of that show, I purposely painted a wall, then sat down and watched it dry instead of going to that Sammy Belcher concert. It's just, you know, he did a lot of the Sammy Hagar songs, like I Can't Drive 55 and Heavy Metal and whatever garbage, you know, Satch Boogie, you know, Joe Satriani doing that. What kind of fucking Van Halen tribute is it when you don't play that many Dave songs? How many Dave songs did they play? And you have Michael singing it, and I'm sorry, Michael Anthony is not a good singer. He's not. He is part of the greatest background singing ever with Eddie and Dave on those classic records. I will say yes, Michael Anthony's awesome. But he's not awesome without Eddie and Dave singing along with him. I'm sorry. I don't hear it. I just hear an annoying voice, and he does those stupid screams. And he sings, what is it? Ain't Talking About Love. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. But hey, some people liked it. And yes, I had a friend go to the show, and he told me it was a really bad attendance. He said that it was pretty empty, which is fucking hilarious, you know. What happened, Sammy? What happened to your scary career that you were as big as Van Halen in '84? You know? And then after they fired you from Van Halen, what albums has done well for you except for Chicken Shit? I think that one went gold, but that's it. All your solo albums failed. But he'll never mention that. He'll mention how he goes platinum when he doesn't. You know, he said that and I Never Said Goodbye went multi-platinum. Bullshit. And the only reason that album sold, probably went gold, was because Eddie Van Halen was on bass. That's what sold the records, not Sammy Belcher's scary talent. But whatever, man. Screw him. But I don't say screw all you Sammy Hagar Belcher fans. You're all cool, except you dumbasses that want to argue with somebody because I don't like Sammy Belcher. You know, the fact that you don't like David Lee Roth or you bag on him and anything, I don't give a flying fuck. I actually agree with you. He sounds like shit now. I'm talking about classic Dave. That's fucking awesome. And you can't take that thought away from me. You know, and I'm not trying to take your thought away from you that Vangina's good. Good for you for thinking that, you know? I'm proud of you. Whatever. Screw you. And your parents for having you. And thank you all for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithm. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. Sammy Belcher sucks. And smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.